Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleketv. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. I have a matter arising today. Before then, let me welcome you to this monologue. Thank you for joining me on this monologue again. The matters arising has to do with Port Harcourt Refinery. I didn't want to talk about this initially, but seeing the amount, I've read about this, I think, a couple of days ago, that Port Harcourt Refinery, that after so many years, they rehabilitated it and they brought it back to function. About a couple of weeks ago, has packed up again. And I read about that, but I just slept because I'm used to that. Everybody's used to our refineries not working. But coming across how much that was actually spent to bring it to function again, it just gave me a headache that I just needed. I think I should talk about it. It says Port Harcourt Refinery shuts down again weeks after $1.5 billion rehabilitation. $1.5 billion rehabilitation. So it took them about trillions of naira, about 3 trillion, 3 point something, almost 4 trillion naira to bring this refinery to work. And just a couple of weeks after, it packed up again. It is so unfortunate. Okay, let me read a little bit about the news. After resuming production less than a month, the Port Harcourt Refinery has ceased operations for the second time, raising concerns about the effectiveness of its $1.5 billion rehabilitation project. The shutdown was reportedly observed on Thursday, December 19th, 2024, when the lifting of premium motor spirit, PMS, commonly known as petrol, stopped. Wow. Sahara reporters had also in November ending reported that the Port Harcourt Refinery shut down operation at the moment with only its non-petroleum unit running, which is the crude distillation unit. Okay, the CDU, crude distillation unit, produces naphtha, kerosene, and diesel, but cannot produce the component which is needed for the premium motor spirit, PMS, otherwise known as petrol. Top sources at the refinery had disclosed to Sahara reporters. Now, this is disheartening. It is infuriating. It is annoying. It is provoking. Unfortunately, not surprising to us. It is not. And why I'm making this monologue is just to give my opinion about the possible reason behind another closure or shutdown of the refinery. The refinery will not work. It didn't work earlier. It will not work now. It didn't work earlier because interests, multiple interests, or very few interests of the establishment were involved and are still involved. And because of this interest, they will keep sabotaging. My problem is this interest, they know quite all right that they will not allow the refinery to work, yet they keep budgeting and spending all this money to make it right. Now, there are two ways of corruption in this whole thing. The rehabilitation itself is corrupt. That money, obviously, they did not spend 1.5, not even 1/4. I bet you they did not spend 1/4 of that money. to rehabilitate the refinery. They spent probably not up to very, very, if you obviously when you hear the amount that if you hear the amount they spent on that, you will shed tears for Nigeria. I bet you they did not spend up to 1/4 of that 1.5 billion dollars. The rest actually went to private pockets. They just shared it. And that is just it. They just shared it and brought in few manageable parts and say, okay, let's make it running to justify the money we have spent. Then after a short while, again, it went up because, again, another second type of corruption in this. The first part is the one that has to do with the contract awarding for the rehabilitation, which this money goes to individuals. These contracts are not awarded. They just do shady deals, shady job, and share the money. The second part of the corruption has to do with the same interest group. This interest group have to do with everyone, people in the industry, including with even the Tinubu himself. We now have Tinubu. Tinubu is into oil business as well. So he to have interest. If this refinery works, his interest will not work. It will be against his interest and his oil company against his oil company's interest. That's just it. So the moment NNPCL is active, it will be detrimental to every other interest, and that's what they know. So they will keep sabotaging they will keep sabotaging the refineries, the public refineries. Obviously, the Dangote angle is there too. So everything is not only shoddy, it is corrupt. It stinks. It reeks of corruption. So unfortunately, it will not work. We'll keep having the same issue over and over and over again, and it will even get worse because we now have a president that obviously has immense interest in oil business, in oil industry. We all know that. For those of you, okay, not everybody, but for those of you who don't know or who did not know before now, Owando has acquired all the NNPC outlets, petrol outlets, fuel station. Owando have acquired it, and who is the owner of Owando? It is Tinubu. Tinubu's nephew is the one managing it right now, the president's nephew. So it is the president's company. That's just the reality. So tell me, how do you expect NNPC to work? NNPCL will not work, even though they say it's a private company now. Yes, technically it is private, but government, they have shares. Government, they share between private and government. So government is still the owner of NNPC. It still belongs to us. I don't know the sharing formula, how much percent belongs to the private sector and how much belongs to government. But all I know is that government is still the one in charge. They may have appointed some private individuals or whatever, but the truth is that government is still the one in charge. I think federal government has higher share than the private. So it's so sad, so unfortunate that we'll continue to spend money on something that we know that they would not, the powers that be would not let be. They allocate money for such and endeavor or such job. They don't do that job. They do shady job and share the rest money. And apart from that, even when it's implemented, even if when the factory refinery comes to bear, to play, to work, it's just for a very, very short period of time. And it goes because people are deliberately sabotaging the system, because sabotaging it is making them more money, private, personal money. And I ask again, I've been asking on this show, Nigerians, when is our breaking point? At what point shall we say enough is enough? At what point shall we begin to hold our leaders to account? At what point shall we say we are done with you, bloodsuckers? At what point, for God's sake, shall we take our destinies in our hands and begin to hold public officials to account? My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle.